We got that POPPA PANK. We got that POPPA PANK. We got that POPPA PANK. We got that POPPA PANK.
Yes! We are on Facebook Live here on Theater Horizons page with this StreamYard.
Yes. And we're just going to hit y'all with our theme song because that's what we should do. Right, Justin?
From the POPPA PANK.
All right, here we go. Okay. Yep, here we go.
Here we go.
Thank you all for joining us here today on POPPA PANK. I am Jaylene Clark Owens. This is my co-host and co-star,
Justin Jane.
And we are so excited for you to be here. You are now enjoying the tunes of Ill Dutes with the track Terabon from their Octoroon soundtrack. And Octoroon is a play by Brandon Jacob Jenkins, and that is where Justin and I first worked together. That is where we met and established our friendship. And our shenanigans have now turned into this show. So we are so excited to have you all here today. We have a special guest, David Diggs, who will be joining us shortly. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the shenanigans.
Cheers. We want to give some special POPPA PANK thanks before we begin. We want to thank, of course, Theater Horizon for sponsoring us during this time. Nell Bong Jensen, Brian Butler with Brian Butler Media Relations.
Hey.
If you know him, look him up. And if you need some PR, that's your person to go to.
Hello.
James Imes, the playwright, and just our bestest friend ever. Casually Owens Fields with Cuticle Press-Ons. We want to thank you. Jaylene, tell us about those.
Listen, my girl Casual, she is a Philly-based artist, and she established her press-on business way before the quarantine even happened. So she was up on it, honey. And now that we can't get
let me put those right up in the camera. Yeah.
They are popping the pank right here. So please go check her out. Her press-on business is called Cuticle. Would you say, Justin?
That looks like the kind of thing, like if I'm quarantined and I'm needing a little pick-me-up, I just put those on and my gosh, my day has changed.
That's right. So thank you for sending these nails, Casual. Go check her out. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish.
We also want to give a shout out to all of our first responders out there. Anybody from nurses and doctors to you folks working in the grocery stores or still in your jobs interacting out there. It is not easy, everybody, what you're doing. And lastly, we want to give a shout out to our Pank Papas who usually watch us on Instagram Live. But now they're watching us here on Facebook Live.
Yes.
We want to welcome all of our new viewers. So there's a lot of people out there today that are watching this show for the first time. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Yes, welcome.
Both Philadelphia-based actors, writers, teachers, artists, and friends. Hey, Jaylene, tell all these new people a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, I am Jaylene Clark Owens. I am an actress.
Hold up. Not just an actress. She is a two-time Barrymore award-winning actress and Audelco award-winning writer and performer.
Thank you. Thank you, Justin. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I am an actor. I am a spoken word poet. And I am a playwright, and I am the executive director of Harlem KW Project. Now, Harlem KW Project is a theater company that I started with 3 other women to create the spoken word infused play Renaissance in the Belly of a Killer Whale, which we just did at the Wilma Theater right before everything shut down.
Go look up some videos after this. Google all of that and go watch a video of that show. You will not regret it.
Yes. Yeah, I am a spoken word poet. As I said, I have a book called Afropoetic. It is on Amazon. And yeah, that's pretty much me. Oh, how can I forget? And I'm from Harlem. But I am based in Philadelphia, but I am from Harlem, New York. All right, that's pretty much me.
There's
Just tell them.
there's truly nothing you, Jaylene, cannot do. Maybe a low deep squat held for a long time, but that's for another episode. My name is Justin Jane, and I am a Philly-based actor. I am also a director, and I have a comedy theater company called the Berserker Residents, and we right down there. Follow us on Facebook. We are just now releasing some of our shows from our vault so you can watch it. It is unlike anything you've ever seen and totally worth it. And I am a professor at the University of the Arts, so if I have any students out there watching, Mazel Tov. And I am from Florida. Let's give it up for Florida. Close your beaches. Close your beaches.
Ooh. Okay. Listen to the man. Listen to the man. Okay. So this is one of my favorite segments. It is called Papa Drank.
Drank.
You ready, Justin?
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. Get your glass so we can clank.
It's time for that. Papa Drank.
Papa Drank.
Papa Drank.
Papa Drank.
Papa Drank.
And cheers.
Cheers.
And
cheers.
And arriba, abajo, adentro, adentro.
Jaylene,
Yes.
what are you drinking in that wine glass?
This is Zamora.
Oh, Zamora, how's she doing?
Zamora. The more you drink, the more you want.
That's why she's the wordsmith of the two. You just spinning magic out of midair.
What are you drinking, Justin?
I'm staying classy for our classy guest coming up, David Diggs. I am drinking a gin and tonic.
Yes,
Gin right on the tonic.
Okay.
Welcome to quarantine. We want to segue into our next segment, which is called what?
Wait, I want to ask the folks what are their Papa drinks?
Yeah, what are you drinking out there? Put them in the comments. We want to know. If you're not drinking alcohol, that's just as good too.
If you're just drinking water, that's all right.
Water.
No one wants to talk to us, Justin.
That's okay.
It's okay. We try.
We'll go to our segment called Tickled Pank, and this is where we talk about something that has us tickled pink this week, something that got us really excited or happy, maybe pop culture, that kind of thing. And
hold on.
Straight vanilla vodka.
Some more.
Oh, baby. And the Negroni is that man is a clown. That man is a clown. I got a water over here. There are some people are going crazy with their drinks.
Thank you so much for sharing these drinks with us. Okay. All right. Here we go. We're moving on. We thank you. Tickle Pank.
I have been really tickled by my students who are like trucking through all this, and some of you out there are online and you're really trying, and I can't tell you how much that makes me feel good. But the real thing that is like getting me through the week is seeing recaps of our past Instagram stories, which there are 5 seasons dating back to 2016. Dating back to 2016.
2017.
There's Octoroon ones up there.
What?
Yes. I'm filming you and you're dancing in the hallway, doing some step-in. We'll talk about this on another episode. But I have loved watching these. And it's just, I'm a prankster. And Jaylene is really easy to get sometimes. And then what I'm watching this week, I'm watching this show called Beastars, which is this Netflix like anime show about a drama club, but all of the characters are human animals. Google if that seems of interest to you. And I've been going back and watching Making It, the old it's a reality TV show with Amy Poehler as the host, and it's all these people like crafting stuff. It's just like just the perfect escape that I need right now. Jaylene, what is tickling you, Pank, this week?
Oh, I am tickled Pank by all the versus stuff, the battles. Teddy Riley and Babyface did a versus the other day, and they had loads of technical difficulties. It was very much so like watching your parents or your grandparents trying to understand social media. And I had such a great time laughing at them, looking at the memes, all of this stuff. And then karma came back to bite me in my behind because last week's Papa Pank episode, featuring the wonderful James Imes, was plagued with technical difficulties.
30 minutes of us just struggling on the computer going, what? Are we live? Are we live? I think we're live. I don't know. Let's get back on. Are we live? And Jaylene is freaking out in a way that is... I'm sure she was crying off camera.
I was almost. But it just showed, sometimes you just gotta laugh. We are living in a time where, exactly. Zoom can be difficult. Okay.
So difficult.
We are living in a time where we have to do all these virtual things, and sometimes it messes up.
Yeah.
But I will not laugh. I will not laugh at Uncle Teddy or Uncle Face again because
I encourage you all to go back to our last episode 4, and go to minute 10:30, and that's when we start doing this. And Jaylene dives into an improvised monologue about how she will enter rooms now whenever people are laughing at like an old person trying to figure it out, and just cry on their behalf. You do not know how hard that is. We're now on StreamYard. We are not on Zoom right now. And StreamYard, for those of you that don't know this yet, we are putting it out in the world. StreamYard is slick. Look at all this. Look at all this. Jaylene,
our new digs. You'll soon see our David digs. But look at these digs that we have.
David digs and these digs. It feels nice. So go do yourself a favor. Look up StreamYard. See, maybe you might want to switch from Google Meet and Zoom to that. But they're all the same. They're all the same.
Okay, my last thing that has me tickled pink.
Yes.
I am tickled pink about like shows. Like there are great shows on now, but also great shows that are coming up that have me very tickled pink or that are returning. So there's a show that's returning. I can't wait for it to return. Holy moly. I don't know if y'all are up on that, but it is a extreme version of mini golf. And
I love mini golf, and I didn't know about this show till Jaylene told me right now about this, and I can't wait. A reality mini golf TV show.
It's quite hilarious. And then I am so excited for Snowpiercer coming to TNT. Snowpiercer coming to TNT. I'm so excited for that, and the musical animated comedy Central Park.
Mm-hmm.
And these two shows feature our special guest. So we might as well just go into it.
Let's do it.
We might as well go into the segment.
This newest segment, Pop In with Papa Pank. Those of you that tuned in last week, as we said before, we had James Imes, playwright, award-winning playwright, director, actor, and we are so proud to have David Diggs with us. Jaylene, tell us a little bit about David.
All right. In case you don't know, you've been living under a rock or whatever. Let me tell you about David Diggs. Let me get the bio right. Okay. Here we go. All right. So Mr. David Diggs is a Tony Award-winning, Grammy Award-winning rapper, actor, and producer. David is widely known for originating the roles of Thomas Jefferson and Marquis de Lafayette in the Broadway sensation Hamilton. You might have heard of it.
Heard of her?
And David is also going to be in a show coming up called Snowpiercer on TNT, which he will tell us a little bit more about that in a second. He is my lyrical mentor, an all-around cool person. I want y'all to give it up. I hope wherever you are doing a drum roll on the table. Drum rolling while I get myself together here. All right, here he comes. The moment you've been waiting for, Mr. David Diggs.
Jaylene, I I ain't never doing nothing unless you introduce me again. That's it.
Hi, David.
What's up, guys?
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
It's so nice to have you here.
Oh, what you got for your Papa drink?
Pank drinks. This is a little frozen strawberry margarita. You feel me? Popped my collar one time. We had,
Yes.
Emmy went ahead and made this.
That's a level
this strawberry margarita downstairs, and it's. Can I jest?
Can we just talk about how David came through with the pink hat?
Look.
Yeah.
You gave me I have to thank you guys for giving me a reason to put clothes on. I actually can't thank you enough. I was so excited. I got the little email. If you want to wear a Papa Pink, and I ran to the closet. I was like, okay, the hat. Am I gonna wear the pink shirt? I'm gonna wear the pink shirt. Is the tie like it's not really pink, but I think it's gonna offset. You don't even know. Like I'm fully.
Fully hit
Look, I'm trying to tell you to the shoes, y'all. I'm trying to tell you.
Let's go.
What?
You don't give me a theme.
Listen, people are loving the outfit. Okay.
God.
That's my homie Gungeon. You just posted.
Oh yeah.
Gungeon's comment. Gungeon, if you go back and listen to an old album of mine that's just sitting on Bandcamp called "Small Things to a Giant," Gungeon produced like half that album.
Amazing.
He's a monster producer.
Give it up for Gungeon.
Here's to you.
Yes.
Okay, Justin.
Yeah.
Take it away.
Justin, by the way, gin and tonic is I'm a huge gin drinker, so
Oh,
I appreciate the nod for that.
This is bottom shelf, but it tried to put it in the fanciest glass that I had.
It worked.
All the liquor stores in Philly and Pennsylvania right now are closed, so it's ration time.
Oh man, we get our booze delivered. We don't play. We had this. We're gonna go through all of the booze in the cabinet, so there's no reason to buy any. And we went through it way faster. Turns out the biggest thing stopping me from drinking before noon was like the threat of having to drive somewhere.
Yep.
But once you remove that from the equation, like it could be 10:30.
New normal.
Listen, I'm here for it.
Normal.
So, David, the first thing we usually ask our guests when they know us is how they met us and what their first impressions of us were. But we just met. I'm so delighted about that. But you and Jaylene actually have a history. So can you tell everybody out there how you first met Jaylene and what your first impression was of her? I'm dying to hear this.
Jaylene is a Bars alum. So myself and Rafael Casal, we run a program out of the public theater called Bars, and Jaylene was in our last cohort that we had, and so I met her before she met me because everyone had to send in audition tapes and a pretty like extensive application process, and Jaylene's was brilliant. She did this piece that was. Have you ever done that's clearly a piece you've had in the back pocket for a while. You should do like 10 seconds of it for the Papa Pank folks. It's fantastic. But it was a no-brainer to try and get her in the program. And I said this to everybody the first day, but we don't let anybody in that program who we're not super like geeked off of. So by the time I met Jaylene, I was already a fan. And so I was like a little starstruck to meet her and to like have her in class.
That was awesome. I remember Jaylene freaking out when that whole application process was happening, and then when the prospect was happening, in a way that I've never seen Jaylene before, of just like, there's something that might happen. I can't tell you, but it might happen. So just know. I can't tell you, but something might happen.
Oh my God, we couldn't have done it without you. It was really, and this was a very special cohort for me. I haven't had I've because of like just the nature of my life, I haven't been able to be super present in a lot of them. I've been like sort of the floating member, and this time the roles were reversed, and Rafa was sort of floating, and I got to really be there for most of it. And so really since the second time we did it, this is I haven't got to do that. So like y'all are kind of like I don't know. I feel very close to y'all.
What was your first impression of David?
My first impression was, oh my God, that is Daveed Diggs. And he legit said what he said in our meeting. Like, he's told us how he was starstruck to meet all of us. And I'm like, what do you mean? You're starstruck? Like, I am starstruck right now. It was, I've listened to the Hamilton soundtrack so many times, trying my hardest to rap Guns and Ships. And so it was just amazing to just be like, okay, yeah, we're in the room. Okay, so we're doing this. We are doing this for real. We are here. And I just, I was very honored to be in the same space and to be meeting Daveed. And just after just hearing him talk for a bit, I was like, this is a cool guy. Like, he's very humble. He's just Daveed Diggs, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much for making that program. It's so awesome. I saw the midnight show, and that was on point. I was like,
amazing, right?
And it was so fun. And I'm just like, every young artist out there needs to know about bars and apply and go see it. It's really, really an awesome, special thing. So
thank you. Yeah, we're waiting to see. Everything's in flux, but it will happen again, and we'll put applications up, and Jaylene will be as involved as she wants to be, and like but yeah, it was really special. It's hard. Like, I don't want to get like, right, you can attest to that. Like, it's not a game, and I think like people come in kind of thinking it's a game sometimes, and then they leave like this was it. It's a lot of work, and I am sort of in awe of what you guys did. That show was one of the best we've ever had. So.
Daveed, thank you. It was an amazing program. And if you are a rapper, lyricist, poet, make sure you look into the Bards Workshop. Like you said, with coronavirus, we don't know what's happening. Things are pushed back, blah, blah, blah. But make sure you set your notifications so that when it's ready, you're ready. Okay, so Daveed Diggs. One of the segments that we just finished doing was Tickled Pank. So we want to know, what has you tickled, Pank? What is something that has been bringing you joy over the last week or over the quarantine or whatever you'd like to share?
I was listening to you guys. I mean, that Teddy Riley Babyface battle was really special. You are correct. Yeah. It was really, because Teddy Riley was ready to go. He had the whole concert set up.
Yes, he did.
It also was kind of like it's sort of how I feel on social media. It was like the representation of what I feel like all the time. Like, I'm so it was good. I also was a huge fan of the T-Pain Lil Jon one. That was my one. That one went crazy. So yeah, obviously I'm loving the battles. I've been me and my girl have been like having little like projects, like watching projects, like, oh, all right, now we're gonna rewatch all of the Daniel Craig James Bond movies, right? Just like, we just finished that. We started the Mission Impossible, and those have been really fun. Rediscovering Settlers of Catan.
Oh,
Any of you guys are like gaming fans,
like
because
the online version, yeah,
you can play it online, which is why we got back into it. And then we ordered the game. There's a 2-person version that I didn't even know existed. Yeah. So we were playing that the other night. So that's been cool. Board games are like a good.
Wait, hold on. What is it called?
Settlers of Catan. Anybody in the comments who's like a board game person, you should fill Jaylene in.
Jaylene, we're gonna play it someday. It's like based on, you build like villages and settlements, and it's based on a bartering system. And you can barter in any way you want. Some people are really honest, some people are really deceitful and play a game. But you're at the end of the game, you just have to have the most roads and the most towns. So Settlers of Catan is getting a really nice plug right now, and we'll play.
Yeah. Definitely play it. It's super fun. It takes the learning curve is kind of steep. It's the first time you learned it. It's a lot to hold in your brain, but you get used to it. So yeah, we also have an endless or a quarantine length game of gin rummy going on right now. Speaking of gin, which which I gotta say, not to, but I'm killing it right now. I'm ahead by like 500 points in the tally right now because I
Things
I
can
don't fuck
change.
around when it comes to,
As-
I mean, it's a long quarantine, so like I try not to get cocky, but I'm a little bit, you feel me? I I'm doing my thing.
That's
You know?
Yes.
I've got questions about your career because it's so varied and wildly different. And some artists, you know, especially in our communities and as theater people, it's like you get pigeonholed into one certain genre or one certain thing. But, you know, we've seen you on the big screen, on Broadway, on television, producing rap albums. How do you maintain being like this malleable?
I'm old and stuck in my ways. Like I'm 38, you know, had like
Cheers.
and Hamilton didn't happen until I was whatever, 35, 34. So like I think about this all the time actually. If that moment where like a large amount of people started knowing my name had happened much earlier, like it does for some people, I don't know that I would be as have been able to maintain being as diverse of an artist as I have been, but I am old enough to know that that's really important to me, and I also have collaborators who I make really good shit with, and I don't, you know, and so I'm not looking for that. Like I am happy to work with other people. I'm excited when I meet new people to work with, but I don't need people to create right now. Like I have like a great artistic community that continues to grow through the ways that we know how to grow it, through bars and through making music with people and through introductions of, you know, meeting Justin through Jaylene. Like that's now we're family. So that's, you know, that's the way that I always knew how to make art when nobody cared what I was making, right? You just make it with the people who are recommended by the people you fucks with, you know? So that's, and I'm used to working that way. And so I still work that way. And it's worked out for me so far. And it's been nice to, you know, use the whatever moment I'm in where people answer my calls. Like it's been nice to be able to turn the spotlight a little bit over to, because I get offers for more things than I can possibly do, which is, you know, for the moment, knock on everything, that won't last, but like it's cool right now. But I know a lot of people who should be known, so I try my best to sort of just point the spotlight at places where I think it will work, you know. And so yeah, it's been really nice. And I also have just a great team. I sort of lucked it. I never had any representation before Hamilton, but because for me, Lynn's my friend. You know, it was the same. Hamilton for me was the same thing as everything I've ever done. Was my friend was like, I'm doing a play. Do you want to do it? And I was like, all right. But like, so after that, when people, I there was business associated with my business. Like I happened into some really great people who understand that is really important to me and who are, you know, who have their eyes on everything before I would ever have a chance to know about it. So they can also lead me in interesting directions and be like, hey, I heard about this thing. It's really weird, but you might be into it. And like, you know, they get me. So 9 times out of 10, I am really into it. So I'm very lucky.
Yes, I think that's so important. Like what you talked about, 2 things. One, about the age that you were when you did Hamilton. Like that's just showing you, be ready so you don't have to get ready. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. You've been continuously working on your craft. And so when the moment came, you were ready. You've been writing, you've been rapping, you've been doing all these things. So when the moment presented itself, you were ready. And you're never too old or whatever. Like that's very encouraging to me, honestly, as someone who is also in my 30s, you know, and continuing on this artistic path. You know, this can be a very challenging business. It can be a business where you can get stuck or you can feel like, oh, you know, I'm in my 30s. This is never going to happen. But just being encouraged and keep doing your thing, and the moment will come. And then the second thing that I really love that you said was maintaining those relationships that you have with other people. You know, you were in a position, Lynn is your friend. Hey, I'm doing this thing. Yeah, I'm down. Help your friends out with your projects. You know, if you have a project, Killer Whale was just me and my friends came together and wrote that play. And we have been doing that play since 2011. It just speaks to building the relationships. Literally, one of the people in that group, Hollis Heath, I've known her since I was 4 years old. Like, maintaining connections is a beautiful thing. Utilize your network. You don't always have to get the plug or be like, oh, I gotta wait till this top person finds me in order to succeed. No, who do you have around you that you can use to create your own stuff? So thank you for saying that. I think that
wouldn't exist if we weren't friends, Jaylene, and all the shows that we've done. And James is our Lin-Manuel Miranda. He keeps writing roles for us. He's watching, keep writing roles for people of color and for Jaylene and I specifically, please.
Yeah, I think it's very important to sort of continue to reassess your definition of success and what that means. Like I used to be really stressed out about being on, and I had never taken the time to define what on was. I didn't know what that meant at the time, once I started assessing that, I was like, well, you know what? I have been an artist professionally most of my life, and like I've had to do other things to supplement sometimes, but then sometimes I haven't, and that's rarefied air. And like I've almost always done things I was proud of. Yes. Or at least that I thought were going to be dope when I started.
There's the rub.
So,
I mean, like it's that to me is kind of like the most successful thing about my career is that I've produced a ton of art. Most people have not seen the vast majority of my artistic career. I've done a lot of plays, like they're site specific. So like but I'm extremely proud of getting to work and all that. And I also am very proud of the fact that I continue to grow and learn. Like I don't, I'm fortunate now to get to say yes to things because I haven't done them before, because I think they're going to be really hard. And like, I'm not sure if they will be successful. Snowpiercer, I've never been the lead of a TV show before. It's hard.
That is
very
a
good
segue, because that's my next question. Please tell us about all the wonderful things. So as Justin said, your career you are very malleable. You've been on the stage, you've been on the small screen, the big screen. We've seen you in Blackish, we've seen you in films. What is coming up? Please let us know what is coming up, when it's coming out. When do we set our calendar?
Well, yeah, the thing I have to mention is that May 17th, Snowpiercer is coming to TNT. And God damn, Jaylene, come on. Beasting over here.
Ready, so you don't have to get ready.
Yo.
I'm ready for you, Debbie.
That was so cold. Yeah. The Snowpiercer coming to TNT May 17th. It's a wild ride, man. And we've shot a lot of season 2. So it's actually weird. I'm like, I do hours of press for it every day these days, because we're like essentially press junketing right now, but remotely. So like I'm on Zoom all day long or on the phone or whatever. But it's a little crazy to talk about because I have to remember things that we're not working on. So I don't tell everything that happens in the first season, but because we've been working on this show for 4 years, damn near, like
what?
Yeah, it's been.
You need to know the movie to see the show.
You don't need to. You should see the movie, because like I hope after Parasite, everybody is going and watching everything Director Bong's ever made, because like there's a undeniable master of craft, like living in real time right now, still producing and like kind of in a midpoint of his career. And so it's so fun to get to watch that trajectory. And then also you're going to get to see what happens next. And that's pretty cool. Like it's crazy to get to, recognize that that's happening right now. And Snowpiercer is a really fun film and a very different film than Parasite. But, the world that he built, that's based on a series of graphic novels that everybody should also read if they feel like they're great as well, is incredibly compelling. So like getting to hang out and spend time in that world and develop it further. And it has nothing, it's just the same setup. The TV show is the same setup as both the graphic novels and the film, but different storylines, different characters. You'll see some similarities sometimes, but like it's borrowing from the same source material, but it's its own self-contained thing. And if you haven't seen or read any of that, you will have no problems with this. Does a good job of setting it up.
I cannot wait, and you're the star. Like, okay, it's gonna.
I am a star. It's an ensemble cast, and it's a brilliant cast. It's actually we've spent so much time together over the years. Now they've become like an extended family to me. But really, really brilliant people, and really dedicated to trying and make sure that everything in this crazy world is also grounded. And that's one thing I really appreciate about this particular group of actors is that we spend so much time asking questions on set, which I think is sort of rare for TV, both from an actor perspective and from a production standpoint, to leave the time for that, and for actors to insist on it, to be like, I understand that you're on a schedule. We're not shooting this scene until I understand the scene. So
very theater thing.
Yeah,
to
it is.
Ask questions and actually get them answered and dive into the text, and that's awesome.
So it's great to be around that. So yeah, that's the shit. You mentioned Central Park, which is fucking fantastic, man. It's so fun.
We got you covered. We got you covered. Jaylene got you covered.
It's so crazy. It's super fun. Josh Gad created the show. Like, Lauren Bouchard, who created Bob's Burgers, is also one of the creators of it. And it's when I tell, like, it's so fun. Leslie Odom Jr. is the star. It's got like a ton of incredible talent in it. A ton of incredible people writing songs. Rafael Casal has written songs for the show. Like it's a real like family affair, but it's so much fun. And the music is like, it's a for real musical. And I think for me, that's the part that it's a great show without it. With it, it's like on a totally other plane to me from any cartoon for television I've ever seen. It's really, and so it's fun. It's just fun to be a part of.
Yeah. We have just two more questions for you. I've got one, and I'm going to let the viewers out there ask a question. We're going to just choose one of your questions, so make it a good one. And so while I ask this one, go ahead and type yours in the comments.
Yes, start asking your questions.
My question to you,
I'm so sorry.
David, is all of us are artists here, and we're there's a lot of other fellow artists watching right now. There's particularly a lot of university students and artists just entering the field, especially at this weird time. So it's just this generic question of what advice do you have for young artists entering the field, as well as mid-career artists who are your peers?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, we went over it a little bit. The advice I most commonly give is to stop sweating the timeline and let, throw that out of your mind, and just artists make art. And so like, if you spend a whole lot of time wondering about how many people know you're making art, you're spending a lot less time making art. But this particular situation has been one that's interesting for me. And I think for everybody, it feels like a lot of people, and artists in particular, are starting to sort of reassess the why. So in this time period, I think it's a good time to do that. I think it is a good time to try and really explore why you are making art, and try to figure out what the things that are really important for you to say are. And particularly when we're like day to day hustling, like trying to get a gig, doing 100 auditions a week, sending in self-tapes, whatever your particular artist hustle is, you start getting like real job thirsty, but not really art thirsty. And like, I think using this as a time to sort of check back in with the things that are important to you. It's important to be intentional about what you make. And I think it also helps. There was a time period in my life when I was back to back with plays and I could, I, you know, I felt sort of artistically fulfilled on one hand, but I wasn't making a lot of music, and I had never really been on tour. And I just started saying to myself, like, this is what I want to do. I want to do like a substantial tour, and I want to make more music. And I just kept saying it. And like a big part of what I've realized about my journey has been like about, you have to identify as what you want to be. Right. Like you can't, it's not a passive thing. You have to be active about it. So like it took a long time for me to identify as a rapper. That felt like a weird thing to say, especially for someone who's like starting to leave their 20s. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody I grew up with is a rapper. So that doesn't really, you know what I'm saying? But coming back around to that and really starting to identify as that, almost immediately after deciding this is what I'm going to do. And like on all of my social media, I just wrote, like in the bio, I wrote, I write rap songs. Like that was across the board. This was my way of saying this to myself. And within a year, our band Clipping signed to Sub Pop, and I was touring in Europe, which I'd never done before. And I was, like, you have to, and it's intentional. Even when you don't feel that it's intentional, you have to set intentions. And I think like,
yes,
being
again, wait. Even if it's not intentional,
even if it doesn't feel intentional, you have to set intentions.
Yes.
And so this kind of time, this being sheltered in place, is a good time to do that and to sort of think about what it is you want to do, and why you make what you make. And you may discover some things, especially those of us who have been grinding a lot and even working a lot. You might discover that there's a hole there, and you can actually you can get the thing. You can fill that.
Gosh, man. Jaylene, do we have a question from the audience?
Listen, I am not good at picking stuff. Like I see so many questions, and I'm just like, oh Lord, which one should I pick? So I'm gonna just jump in on something. Here we go. Okay.
Okay.
In what specific ways do you suggest we support artists during this crazy time?
Well, I think if there's a way to support art financially and you are capable of it, like you should do that. I've been trying to I didn't wear any of my, because I got on this pink kick, but I wear a lot of like clothing from sort of local brand, like Bay Area, specifically like Bay Area brands. And so I've been like buying a lot of that stuff of late, and Philadelphia Printworks. I love, speaking of Philly, I love their clothes and their messaging, and so I've been going back to buy a lot of that stuff too. But if you see ways financially that you can support artists, that of course. But I think when something like this pops up, if you can, a lot of us, particularly performers, but I imagine every artist is like having to. I started doing the 24-hour plays festival asked me to do some of their viral monologues, right?
I love those.
So good. Y'all have to, you know what? I'm gonna look up the link so I can put them in.
It's just on their Instagram. So 24-hour plays on Instagram is and they have all of them, and they're doing this great process. I had done one of the live shows in New York a couple of years ago. And they asked me what I do one of these, and and those things stress me out. But what I realized was I am able to practice most parts of my art in solitary confinement. In quarantine, I can still write. I'm being a more effective producer probably than I was before. I'm like, I can record even here. What I can't practice is performing, really. And 24-hour plays gave this opportunity to me and to a lot of other actors to practice the act of performance and to do it with as little judgment as possible. And so I think it is helpful for artists, if you see an artist practicing production or practicing performing or figuring out a new way to do that, to watch it it is helpful to watch it and give your feedback, and we all sort of need to flex that muscle, and we're all trying to figure out how to do that. And so I think
I love your pieces on there. I teach university students, and I sent them there to watch because they were working on monologues from home. And I'm saying, embrace the form. Don't shun away from it. Like, we're theater people, yeah, but we need to say this is a unique moment. And that was so exciting to see a lot of theater folk on that, leaning into form and doing these monologues written by famous playwrights, filmmakers, everybody. And it was so exciting to see you on there.
Yeah, it's been super great to do, and like forces me out of my head for 24 hours. And there's the nice thing about that form too, that I think all artists can sort of take with them, is like there is I think a lot of us are perfectionists, right? And one of the reasons that we're yeah, I know, Jaylene, I know you are. And one of the reasons that we sort of consistently try to produce high quality things is because we care so much about it. But there is something to be said, and what 24-hour plays does so well is sets up a framework in which we know the parameters are, this happened in 24 hours. So you can't be that mad at me if it sucks. You know what I'm saying? But that's not really the point. They all end up being great. They're all like, it's just a stream full of brilliant performances and really good writing. You know what I'm saying? But that freedom, just setting up the parameter of like, this is only 24 hours of my life, so it wasn't even really, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Actually leads to some really interesting discoveries. And I think I've been trying to think about that in my other writing. I see a lot of poets and like bars alums, particularly online, like doing a poem every day for the month and stuff like that. Those kinds of things that test you and force you to produce even when we're stuck at home, and force you to produce quickly, I think are really good for us as artists and as consumers of art. I think it's good for all of us to see to witness those things. Art doesn't really, I don't know, some people would disagree with me, but I don't think it exists without the audience. I don't think it exists in a vacuum. That would just be a diary entry, and those, I don't spend that much time on those. So
absolutely. And Nell, who is the artistic director of Theater Horizon, just put up this as a way for those who are in the Philly community and not to support artists at Theater Horizon. They have an option there for that as well. Now, I know I said one question, but I just want to ask this because I want you to talk a little bit about blind spotting. So blind spotting, well, you don't know, it is a film that David and Rafael Casal created. They wrote it and they're in it, and it is brilliant. So David, if you can answer this question and just tell us a little bit about blind spotting, that'll be our last thing.
Word.
Is there another project you want to work on that will open the minds of the public to certain issues? Thank you, Sadie.
Well, I think I'm gonna answer this question in two parts. One being like, I've never chosen a project because I wanted to open anybody's mind to anything. That's not really how I operate. I just choose shit I think is good. And blind spotting we wrote because we the issues that brought up in it were sort of secondary to the fact that we were trying to portray the Oakland that we grew up in on screen appropriately. We had never seen that before. And so we were trying to solve that riddle. So that was the hype for us. Along with that, like good art that exists in a time period, I think you're going to bring, all the rest is going to come with it. Snowpiercer, it's interesting in all the press, like everybody's asking me, is it going to be crazy for people to watch because we're quarantined now and the confined spaces on the train and like the class structure and all of that, and like all of those things were always present in the show. That's not why the show was made, but the way good sci-fi works is it allows us to look at ourselves from a little bit of a distance so that we can understand. But whatever was going on in the world, one of the reasons I liked Snowpiercer so much was whatever was going on in the world you were going to see it reflected in the show. And so but and then part 2 of that is that we are making a blind spotting TV series, and we're like deep into the writer's room right now, and it's very exciting. I can't, like, I'm not really allowed to talk about it that much, but that much has been announced, and it's yeah, I'm super excited about it. It's really Ashley's story, so we're all like writing for Jasmine Cephas Jones, which is another delight and honor, and
She's amazing.
Yeah. And so, yeah, so, you know, the sort of ideas that we were pursuing in blind spotting are we're still thinking about them and still trying to figure out ways to rep the Bay as hard as possible. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. David motherfucking Diggs. Thank you.
Been school tonight.
Guys, this was so much fun, man. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for letting me dress up and
for being here.
Drink margaritas and talk about artsy shit. It's very
so
nice.
as a reminder, folks, Snowpiercer, mark your calendar.
God,
Central
she's good.
Park, mark your calendar. We ain't speak about it, but I got you. Soul in theater.
Dang.
I have a 4-year-old daughter, and I cannot wait to take her to this.
Soul's gonna be wild. I would, you know, those dates are all malleable. So like
Malleable.
I wouldn't, except for Snowpiercer. Snowpiercer is happening May 17th. Or it's gonna be problems for me.
Starling,
But
Netflix.
the Starling, man, the Starling is beautiful. Can I just say? And like it is such a gorgeous script, and I've only seen little pieces of like little clips, but it's gonna be gorgeous. Good Lord Bird also. How did you? I didn't even know you knew about that. The Good Lord Bird will be on Showtime sometime soon. Rafael Casal also in that film. We don't interact at all, so that's some fun. That's some fun. I'll tell you a story about how that came around. That is really funny. It's funny to me. But I'm playing Frederick Douglass in that piece, and it's and it's a trip. And if you haven't read The Good Lord Bird by James McBride, who also just released another fantastic novel called The Deacon King Kong, that's so good. But if you haven't read Good Lord Bird, it is one of the most wild rides of historical fiction I have ever taken, and I recommend it. And so I get to play a pretty fantastic version of Frederick Douglass in there, and I'm on set, and I'm working with Ethan Hawke, sort of involved with the creation of it and the executive producer of it, and it's his show, and he's playing the abolitionist John Brown in his piece. And when I tell you he is like unreal in it, he's unreal. But we're on set one day, and he's like, "Oh man, I'm so out of touch. We're still trying to cast one role, and I just need like a young, charismatic white guy." And I was like, like, I know a guy if you want to. I mean, like, I could give you his number or whatever. Like, and he was like, yeah, what's that? So like, I gave him the info, and literally 2 hours later, he's like, "Oh my God, Rafael Casal's people sent me all of his stuff. He's amazing. Do you think he would do this?" I was like, "I don't know. You should call him Ethan Hawke. Like, what are you like? You're you, bro. I'm pretty sure we would all say yes to you." But yeah. And so we don't interact in this film, and Rafa's way more in it than I am. Rafa's like the whole second half of the series. He's in. I'm in a couple episodes, but it's a really great. I'm excited about it. I haven't seen any of it, but it was a wild experience, and I'm so in love with that novel that this is one of those things that I had to say yes to, you know. So
yeah.
Yes, you have gotten life advice.
We went a long way, guys.
Everywhere.
Book recommendations, movies to see. Like, it's been an amazing time.
Board games and self-care.
Board games, yo. We are. Yeah. Quarantine activities, reading, board game. Anyone else been doing jigsaw puzzles? I didn't. I hadn't done one of those since I was a kid. And
my friend Tracy has been. I feel like Tracy, you've been doing. She's watching. I think she's been doing puzzles. Yeah, I feel like it would be very calming to do puzzles.
It is. Yeah. It's super relaxing. I watched most of The Americans while doing jigsaw puzzles, and it was a good week or so.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of hours in a day, it turns out.
A whole 24. Who would have known? Who would have known?
Well,
Oh my gosh.
so
Thank you,
much
guys.
for being here. This is so
Yes.
awesome, and you're a gift to the world, David.
I mean, that's y'all. And Theater Horizon, shout out for creating this space. That's really dope.
Yeah.
Yes.
When the theaters, man, I know all of them are coming up with and trying to come up with creative ways to stay afloat. I've been doing the like rentals of every archived production of a show I can get my hands on and stuff. So like I know that's been an interesting thing and super fun for me. I like watching plays even if they're taped. I used to go sit in the Performing Arts Library when I was like the first time I'd lived in New York, where I was like, you know, living on the subway. Essentially, I would go to the Performing Arts Library and just watch the archival footage of old plays all the time. So it's been cool.
That's awesome.
Seeing that stuff. But anyway, however, you know, keep the theaters alive. I've been doing a lot of like little video fundraisers for theaters, and I want to have theater work to do whenever that can happen again. I don't want that tradition to die. I think it's a really important form of storytelling that we already took for granted, and we really can't take for granted now that we can't do it because it's very hard for theaters to make money. So
yes.
Anyway,
Well,
I'm gonna stop talking. I'm just been talking.
Listen, we are hanging on every word.
Every word.
You get me drinking margaritas, man. It's a Jaylene, you know.
Listen, we used to have some great times after bars going to have drinks. It was quite lovely. Oh my goodness, Javi Diggs. Thank you once more. Please go follow Mr. David Diggs. He is on the Instagram. He is on the Twitter. We are just so grateful for having you. Yes, we are going to let you go. And thank you for coming in and wearing all pink. And it's you're amazing. I love you. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye, David.
Oh, man. Jaylene.
Justin.
We all need a moment. I think everybody just needs a moment. Everybody. Just wherever you are, just take a moment and just go, that happened.
That happened.
That happened.
That happened.
All of our lives have been changed.
Folks have been loving it on the Instagram. On the Facebook.
Look, Jaylene, we have 3 minutes left of our show. We got to just jump to the end. You know, I was so excited to have David up here. I have listening to him on Hamilton and Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, and the most surprising is like Mr. Noodle on Sesame Street. My daughter was geeking out about that. What is something for you that David brings up?
Legit trying to sing Guns and Chips, because that is the fastest song on one of the fastest songs performed on Broadway. And I just remember sitting, as we talked about, after bars at the restaurant that's inside of the Public, having drinks, and I'm like, so how did you prepare for Guns and Chips? It's so fast. And he's like, it's not that fast. He has a song for his group Clipping, if you didn't know. I don't think we talked about it that much, but David has a rap group, Clipping. Go look them up. And he raps even faster than that. So he was like Guns and Chips was light work. And here I am really trying to get it down. So yeah, that was it. He's great. He's freaking great. And I'm so glad. Oh, I forgot to tell him that we do a freestyle at the end of the.
Are we doing that? We got 1 minute.
It's not luckily Instagram. I mean, Lord, Facebook does not cut you off.
Oh,
so
right.
it's not like we're gonna get cut off. Although, you know, we got it.
Okay, so before we go to our closing,
Yes.
Jason and I are Papa Pank, and next week's episode, it's just going to be the two of us talking about all the things we haven't talked about yet. And then
Right.
the episode after that, we're going to have another very special guest. It's secret right now, or guests. And so be on the lookout for that. You want to be following us on
Yes.
all of the social medias.
All of the social medias. Hold on. I'm going to get to you. So, first of all, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page, please. Okay.
It's brand new, so we need you to subscribe so that ticks up, and then we can start being the influencers that we are meant to be.
And please follow us on our personal Instagram pages, Jaylene Clark Owens, This Just In, our Papa Pank. No, this way. Let me see. There we go.
Yeah, I'm pointing to this, and you point to that.
Yeah, there we go. our handle is up there, Papa Pank. And you can follow us below. Like, if you watch our videos from the past,
we did this, but it's real now.
We can't talk at the same time.
Welcome to the quarantine Zoom meeting, StreamYard, Google Meets. Nobody can talk at the same time. Good God help you if you're a theater person and you're like doing some theater reading and there's like a choral moment. It is a mess. It's just people like
You cannot do it. You cannot do it. But for real, follow us.
Here.
Like us on the left. Subscribe underneath. Put your hands on your head. Hey,
Macarena. At least for the next 4 weeks, you'll be seeing us 9 p.m. here on Theater Horizons Facebook Live. We sometimes do a double thing on Instagram Live for our Papa Pank.
Yes.
This before Theater Horizon, but we'll go ahead and start to close up. So the first thing we like to do when we close up is some freestyle poems. Now, Jaylene is a poet, but I'm not. And let's see.
But I'm not a freestyler, and my freestyling has no reflection upon my lyrical mentor, David Diggs.
Okay.
He can actually freestyle rap. I cannot.
In honor of David, I'm going to give Jaylene a theme, and then she'll give me a theme. Jaylene, here, because David had it, let's go with puzzles. Okay, here's your freestyle poem on puzzles. Go.
Life can be a puzzle. Gotta make the pieces fit. You must stay ready so that you don't gotta get ready. Keep your mind steady. I was born ready on fish and spaghetti. So when you think you can't find the pieces, just take a chill pill and eat a Reese's. Thank you.
Yes. And then immediately all the sponsorship from Reese's Pieces, the Reese's company just comes flowing in. Oh my God. Give me my theme. Give me my theme. Give me my theme.
Your theme is
You're looking the wrong way. You're looking the wrong way.
Your theme is confidence, because I feel like David had confidence in his confidence.
Okay, so hey, this is a time where you might be feeling blue, but I'll tell you, here's what you need to do. Go inward, reflect on your past, because therein lies the key to make it last. It's called confidence. Here's what I've done with my life. I am in quarantine, and I don't need this strife.
Yay! High five! High five!
High five! Oh my gosh.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. It has been amazing. Shout out to Theater Horizon. We love you so much. Shout out to StreamYard for this beautiful platform. Shout out to all our Pank Papas. You all are our Pank Papas, our fam. Please go like us on Instagram, on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube, all the things. We are here every Wednesday night. I'm going to kick it off. Here we go. We're closing out with our song. Once again, we thank you. Again, you are listening to the Tunes of Ill Dudes. Wonderful band. Look them up.
Yes.
We love you all. We thank you so much for all your comments, your questions, everything. We thank you so much. Yes, you are welcome. We are so happy that we got to bring Dabi Diggs. We love you. We love you all. We thank you. We appreciate you. We hope that you join us next week. Once again, nails from Cuticle Press-Ons. Go follow her, get your nails. Go look up Justin in the Berserker Residents. Go look up Harlem KW Project. And now we're going to hit you with our closing song.
Bye.
And, we'll talk to you later. Bye.
We got that pop-up